also admiring your check-off board over there. Even got the BPMs on there. That's something you don't think about too much. And I always forget what the BPMs are to my songs. And with airs, we have like a million tempo changes. So if I ever have to like go make a new click or something, I totally forget what the hell I did. But
womp womp.
Yeah.
Womp womp.
We have a song like that too. That actually the last one I was just showing you has like a fuck ton of tempo or time signature changes.
oh,
and shit.
sure. Yeah, I was hearing that. You got a lot of cool proggy shit going on. It's fun.
Oh yeah. All right. Well, let's fucking get into it.
Let's go.
Cool.
All right. What's up, guys? Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Midwest Slamcast. Today I have the boys in Errors of Humanity. Let's go.
Yeah.
So what's going on, guys? How was the show last night?
It was awesome.
Show was
it was
lit.
a really good show. All the bands got along really well. It was a big homie fest.
Oh yeah.
It was nice to see everyone. Yeah.
Yeah,
Very, very fun.
absolutely. Had the Neck Rung Boys up there for the first time. Yeah, that was their first GB show. They fucking
Still Stayer's
killed it.
first Green Bay show as
Yeah,
well, too,
Still
right?
Stayer too. Yep.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Have you
Vapid-
guys ever played at that venue before?
Yeah, we played there one other time.
Yeah.
Tarleton is dope for anybody trying to come through Green Bay. Highly recommend. They treat us very well there, and
It was
it's a sweet venue.
Tarleton, right?
Yeah, Tarleton
Tarleton.
Theater. Yep. Let me move this up a little.
I did
Perfect.
ask to borrow some silverware because I had some mac and cheese, and the guy was really weird about me returning the silverware. He was like,
Yeah.
"Make sure you bring that fork back." And I was like, "I'm not gonna steal the fork."
China. Precious China.
So I stole it anyway because I was like, if he's
He
gonna
threw it on his plate at that point.
Fuck you.
Yeah.
I'll take this shit anyways, man.
Other than that, it's all good things about.
Daryl's
that
gonna
place.
watch this.
Yeah, we're never going back to the Tarleton, dude.
All right. Well, I already got your guys' story on the last
Yeah.
one, but Dane, we're putting you on the hot spot, man.
Yeah.
So can you kind of like tell me about like your like backstory, like upbringing
Oh,
in
man.
music?
Give us the
Like,
lore.
Give us the
Where did you-
lore.
where'd you start music?
I'd say Rock Band 2 on the Wii was how I started in about middle school, and just kept playing that until I finally got a drum set in high school, and just listened to lots of Slipknot and Five Finger Death Punch.
Oh yeah, I'll get you
Two
going.
goated bands. Yeah, and then like senior year of high school, I finally learned how to read sheet music and stuff, and then I went to school for it, and then I found Kieran. Yeah, and now I read so much sheet music all the time, and I really use everything I learned in music school constantly.
For sure.
Yeah, that's deathcore as fuck, dude.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I was on a hashtag drummers wanted on Instagram, just scrolling through stuff, and I saw Kieran and James's post, and I hit him up,
Oh
and
yeah.
the rest is history.
Was that your first band?
No, I was in another band in later in high school and early college called Waiting for Reason. It was like
Yeah.
a metalcore band, and me and Tyler's old band had played shows together, but we never really talked.
No.
So that was.
I didn't
cool
like
to-
him.
Yeah.
That kid's like, oh, smug little shit. behind the drums.
Yeah, we were just a solid three-piece.
Yeah, Waiting for Reason was sick.
Yeah.
You guys were legit.
Played a lot at the annex. We had like a light box and everything, and I was like, wow, these guys have everything put together.
Yeah, they were dialed in.
Yeah.
The light box, like
Mhm.
back when you're coming up, it's like, oh shit, they got light boxes.
Uh-huh.
They're the real deal, dude.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, we did quite a few shows, and then I think COVID happened, and then I think they just kind of did their own thing, and I was like, well, I needed to be in a different band.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, sick.
Yeah, Waiting for Reason was just slightly less heavy than Errors, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it like a step up, like, in like the things you were doing behind the kit?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I think it was a lot like Waiting for Reason was like Bullet for My Valentine type
Oh, okay.
metalcore stuff. So I definitely had to get my chops up for this stuff. I still am.
Aren't we all?
Yeah, Tyler keeps writing faster and faster stuff.
Yeah. If Superior Drummer can play it, so can you.
Does he
They call it
program
get
like the
good drums for a
3-arm
reason.
shit where you're
Yeah.
like, bro, come on, man.
No,
I can't hit 3 cymbals at once. Like,
he's pretty good at programming because you know how drums work.
For the most part, yeah.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I was in Waiting for Reason, and then a couple years ago I started a little pop punk metalcore thing with some college friends of mine, and that was a lot of fun. And yeah, now I'm
Moobus.
Moobus. Yeah, Moobus.
was that the name of the band?
Yes, may or may not be making a return at
I
some
feel
point.
like I've
Move
heard
his
that
fucking
name
rule.
before.
We played a couple shows. We honestly may have been on a bill with you at some point. Maybe.
With Zeal?
I think so. Maybe I'm thinking of someone else.
I feel like you're wrong.
I might be wrong.
I've been to Moobus's shows. Every
You've been to
Moobus
Moobus-
show, I think.
All 2 of them.
Yeah. Is that all you
No,
get?
there were a couple.
Yeah,
We
I was
played
gonna
at the
say.
Cold Shot a lot. We played the
Yeah,
Cold Shot
I
a
was
few
at one of your
times,
shows
yeah.
at the Cold Shot, I remember. And
Uh-huh.
yeah, you guys were with Ashes of Alexis and a couple other bands.
Mhm. Yep.
That was lit.
But where's the cold shot?
It's up in Appleton. It's what is that off of College? I believe so. Yeah, it's
Mhm.
kind
Okay.
of down the way a little bit, but yeah,
The Cold
it's
Shot.
like a bar without a stage, and you just play on the floor.
You're just
Oh,
right
those are
next
fun.
to the door.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, loadout is easy. It's
For sure.
right there.
Oh, yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah, that's my
Yeah.
drumming experience really. I'm playing some other little projects with some other friends of mine, but this is what's keeping me busy for the most part.
Oh, yeah. So, you guys want to get into some existential nihilism?
Hell yeah! Let's talk shop.
Thought you never asked.
So, I don't know. Do you guys want to go like kind of like track by track and kind of like talk about like your creative process
Yeah, I
on
think
each
that'd be
song?
fun.
Sure.
Like from
Fuck
like
yeah.
inception to finalize.
Sure.
Like let's hear
Inception.
the stories.
Yeah.
Mm.
Man, we threw around a lot of ideas leading up to what we have now. Like, I hadn't written with these guys before, so it was definitely like a learning process. Like, kind of finding some middle ground on what we all like, and like, I think Kieran and I have a lot of the same influences in the deathcore realm, and having learned the old stuff on guitar, I kind of knew ballpark, what would make sense to kind of progress the sound, but not like steer it too far in a weird direction or anything like that. So we threw around a ton of ideas. I'd say we had like 5 or 6 like almost fleshed out songs prior to the 5 we released. Like
Mm-hmm.
there were a lot of like riff salads going on and a lot of
Yeah.
just like, kind of deathcore stuff that just pulled from deathcore in different like subgenres, if that makes sense. And we finally started figuring out how to kind of keep the Testimony vibe, but maybe, make it a little shreddier, make it a little more upbeat and
Yeah, I was
crazy
gonna
fast.
say I noticed that you put some solos in this one.
Need a little shred. That was
Yeah.
I
was
just
a
can't
little-
write solos, so that's why there wasn't any solos in previous music.
yeah, a little cherry on top.
Damn straight.
Oh,
But
yeah.
yeah. So I guess we could start with the intro. Dane kind of came up with the initial idea for the intro, which was
Just the first 30 seconds, that little riff. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, in Logic Pro, I just wrote that up and then sent it over, and you guys were like, "Yeah, we can work with this."
Are you talking about like the orchestration stuff?
No, that was Tyler. He had
Okay.
a little choir stuff, which was cool. But yeah, that first riff, was just something I was just chugging along because I can kind of play guitar, but like not enough to like do cool stuff.
Yeah.
I just kind of like do rhythmic like idea stuff on guitar. But yeah.
I mean, you still bring shit to the table doing like just playing little rhythmic shit because like that could be something that Tyler just hears you playing one time, just like, oh shit.
Yeah.
dude."
It's
Like-
like, yeah, it's good like for inspiring me to come up with something on guitar.
Mhm.
Like his rhythmic sense is definitely there. It's tough being in his position where like me as someone who understands drums but can't play them, I can just program them and it's easy. Like, I guess you could program guitar if you've got a program, but like that's a little, I don't know, jankier, I guess. But yeah, I feel like you're at a disadvantage if you're like a drummer who gets guitar, but like there's not a lot of options for programming and shit. So with drums,
I mean, I would say don't overlook programming guitar, because I wrote a couple Zeal songs programming guitar.
Yeah.
And like that definitely like made me like step out of the box more of like what I usually write. So I would say like
that being
fucking try
it.
it.
I've always thought about, like, I know a lot of bands, they'll like write out a song on Guitar Pro and then learn it, like shred bands mostly.
That's also like another cool thing about writing out MIDI if you have like other guitarists in the band and stuff, is like you can easily transpose it into Guitar Pro, and then they just have the tabs like
that would have been really nice for Ouroboros. I sat down like the last couple months and just like tabbed, and there's so many notes in that shit.
Damn.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, my bassist and guitarist had their hands full like learning all that shit, but I also had my hands full tabbing it out. It took a while. I'm not like a tab expert, but yeah, trying to figure out like all these weird little note values and getting like the right number of notes in res in a bar, like would have been helpful to have Mr.
when you're like fucking like it's like red and you're like, fuck, why the fuck is it red?
You're trying to do note math, you're like, son of a bitch. And like there were a couple bars I'm like, I don't care, that'll just be red. Whatever. As long as it goes to the next section, I don't give a shit. They'll figure it out. But yeah. No, it would be cool to come up with some crazy, gnarly shred stuff and just Guitar Pro it out and screw myself for when I actually try to record it. But I know a lot of bands are just like fully programmed now, and like you almost can't even tell. It's pretty impressive how far things have come, because a lot of bands are just like fully Guitar Pro and what is it, Umansky bass and like all these different programming mediums. It's cool.
They make it too easy nowadays to get like a good sound.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Not great job security for us, dude.
Yeah, right.
Maybe that's the move. Maybe I should get Guitar Program to write stuff down to practice.
That's a good idea. Having epiphanies at the table here.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, we kind of went off on a tangent, but that's pretty much the intro in a nutshell. He came up with that initial rhythm, and then I piggybacked off of that and did the Chuggy Chug Caveman section. And yeah, the next one, Sacrificial Lamb, I feel like that was like the first one that we finally settled on being like fit for the EP. Does that sound right? Like,
I think so.
Because we had a bunch of different ideas floating around, and that was the first one. We're like, okay, this is like where we want to go. Because we wrote that before we even did the intro thing. I think the intro came not long after that. Aridona, right? Is that? Hey,
good job.
Hey.
Good job.
Spelled it wrong a million times, but I can at least say it. But yeah, Sacrificial Lamb was the first one we all agreed was like the direction we want to kind of head. And I feel like all of these songs only took a couple days each to kind of put together. I don't think we like sat around and tried to make things work too much. And that was like a problem we had with the songs prior. And that's kind of how we started realizing that this was the direction we wanted to head, was because like things started flowing more and like the parts started coming together easier, because the initial 4 or 5 demos, it was like we were so back and forth on like, okay, what should we do next? Like, and we tried like a million things in the middle and at the end and all this shit, and it was like not coming together. So we talked about this on the last pod, where it's like, okay, if it's not just flowing, not a bad idea to just start something different and come back to that or pull from it or whatever. And that's kind of what we did. But Sacrificial Lamb came together pretty seamlessly, I think. And I'm pretty sure that was one I kind of just mostly wrote myself. And it like Dane and I collabed a lot on just like drum patterns. It was quite a bit of like me riffing it out over dummy drums and him coming in through and just like tightening up the drum parts.
Yeah.
It'd be like you would dick around for like an hour, and then I would dick around for an hour.
Yeah,
just going back and like making the drums.
The trade off.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do that with my drummer
and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, we were trying to figure out how to streamline things, because like we both were sharing my computer working on this shit, and like I would sit there for an hour and Dane's just on his phone like, oh, shit, hurry the fuck up, dude, so I can program these drums.
Playing Rocket League.
Yeah. Yeah. Pocket League.
Pocket League.
Yeah, he plays.
Yeah, I think that's how I got the champ.
Yeah,
Was I
yeah.
spent so much
Rocket
time
League
waiting-
sideswipe, dude.
Yeah, waiting
He's
for
just
you
on
to-
his phone grinding while I'm trying to make a riff sound not shitty. But yeah, Sacrificial Lamb came pretty naturally, and I feel like that was just like the turning point. We're like, okay, this is what we want to do, because if it feels right, it is right, and it sounded good. We were like, let's rock with this.
So then after that, you just kind of tried to write more songs in that same vein type of
Yeah,
thing?
pretty much. And I think we still messed around with quite a bit of different styles, and like you can kind of hear it on the EP a little bit. Like I think we have a pretty solid overarching theme for the whole EP, but like every song is kind of a different like take on that vibe per se. Like,
Well, I was gonna say too. I can't remember. I listened to it a couple times, but I don't remember like specific songs because I was kind of just like listening to it at work and shit. But there's like almost like I can tell your influence because there's almost like metalcore-ish parts.
there are
on
some
there
of those,
too.
yeah.
There's
And
some
I was like-
Shriddlers.
Yeah,
I was kind of caught off guard by that too. I was like, oh shit,
for sure, yeah.
switching it up. But that's like awesome that like you guys are like almost like diversifying. You're not like just like sticking to like one like sound. You know what I mean?
For sure. Yeah.
That's
we
cool.
wanted to kind of experiment and see what we could do. Like, yeah, heavy was definitely at the forefront of everyone's minds. We're like, okay, it's got to be fucking slamming. But yeah, my input was like, I want some shred in this bitch. And we put some shred in there. And I think that's where some of the metalcore influence kind of comes from, is like some of the riffs are a little on the metalcore-y
Mhm.
side, but I mean, deathcore riffs in general kind of take that influence. I think that's where
Yeah.
that comes from. But yeah, so that's Sacrificial Lamb in a nutshell. And then 6 Feet Deep, I feel like that one.
I think that was an old one that we thought we tossed away, and then we brought back, and we're like, this kind of fits.
Yeah,
that's an
yeah,
old
that
one.
one. Yeah, that one definitely. I think we had like a good chunk of that one, and then we kind of moved on from it. And then after we started piecing the other ones together, we went back
Added
and
to that.
yeah, we were like, okay, that does work, given where we're at with our sound now. So we just kind of fleshed that one out. That one came together pretty smoothly. I don't remember, like, after we kind of revisited it and knew what the direction was, it definitely came together a lot quicker. Yeah. You got
That one's
any-
fun because there's a part in 7 in it.
Oh, yeah,
Songs
that's
like that.
that's the one not 4/4 part on the whole
Yep,
EP. I
on
feel.
the whole EP, and it's awesome.
Hell yeah.
It's a fun riff.
He gives it some momentum.
It does.
Oh yeah. Which was the one with that like gnarly fucking pig squeal in the middle of it?
Ooh.
I thought they all have.
There's
Well, no, there's one where it's like you can like almost hear like the end of it, like it like sounded like a legit pig. I don't know. It fucking was nasty though.
Might have been 6 Feet Deep.
I think it's either Arizona or the Black Mass. I think those are the only two with like high
Oh
pitched
yeah, the
pig
Black
squeals.
Mass definitely has that.
Yeah, there's one where you do a pig squeal and it sounds like in episode 3 of Star Wars.
Oh,
when
yeah.
when that one like dinosaur or alien thing gets killed and it makes like the shrieking noise.
I actually sampled that
Yeah,
for that
that's
part.
Production time.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, 6 Feet Deep. That was pretty plug and play after we came back to it. I think
Mhm.
that was. So after 6 Feet Deep, what, Monumental?
Yep.
Yeah, Monumental. That one is really cool. I think that's my favorite one
Yeah.
on the record, and probably like, I don't know, the most song-like song on the record. I feel like it's
It has
very
like a chorus.
structured, you know. Yeah, you want to talk about that one at all, Kieran? What's your take?
Yeah, it's my second favorite song off the EP. But that's the last song that we wrote for the EP. And when
Yeah.
you first sent us the instrumental, I was not feeling it whatsoever. And
Yeah.
it was like you mentioned metalcore, and we definitely have that influence. But before he changed the parts that I weren't feeling, it was just a metalcore song. I thought it was,
Yeah, there was a lot of that going on.
but now it was crazy because, like I said, when we first got the instrumental, I'm like, this ain't it at all. And then you sent us like the final instrumental. I'm like, this is probably my favorite or second favorite song now, just off the shit that you changed.
Yeah.
But I love Monumental Mind Mutilation.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that one definitely started out like it's tough because having the groove and everything is something that we kind of all wanted, but
We want some groove.
yeah, if you don't arrange the note choice correctly, it will sound like a freaking metalcore song, and like that is definitely not the direction we wanted to head. We wanted to pull from that a little bit, but as far as like note choice went, I think that was like the big thing because I don't think I changed a single like rhythmic thing in it. It was just like
the vibe.
Yeah,
I remember
the chord choice and the note choice, and I would say that's probably like the most metalcore sounding song on the whole EP still, but it's
That might have been the one that I was like, ooh,
yeah,
okay,
with
metalcore?
yeah, very got some metalcore bounce to it, which I like. But still kept the slams in there, and there's a lot of like syncopated chugs going on, and yeah, I feel like that one has like the most production value too, because like he said, that was the last song we wrote for the EP, and I was like, okay, let's ball out, let's try to make this as sick as possible, and I really went in deep on the layers and like, you know, backgroundy kind of stuff, and yeah, stuff that I did a lot more on the Ouroborn record. Like, I kind of wanted Airs to be a little more stripped down because one of the things we talked about was not taking too much like black metal influence. Like, there's a lot of black and deathcore out there right now, and not that that's a bad thing, but like that was just
Like
something we were.
in terms of like having like a lot of like orchestration and stuff.
Yeah, and just like that super melodic tremolo kind of stuff, and like that's all cool. That's all stuff we like as well. But it's just like
Not what we were going for.
yeah, not what we're trying to do. We're trying to do more of like an eerie kind of atmospheric thing and keep it heavy at the same time. But yeah, I think we did what we wanted to do in a lot of different ways, which was cool. I feel like the vibe is there, like everything is cohesive, but like every song is different, which I really like.
For sure.
And yeah, the Black Mass, the last song of the EP, was the first song that we did. That one was the Black Mass. Like, I feel like that was the third one that we settled on. Does that sound right?
Yeah, that one was called Gritty City in the Google Drive for
Yeah,
a
it
long
was.
time.
Yeah, let's not start talking about our working titles.
Man.
I remember you told me about one
Canceled.
that was crazy on like on a show we played together or something.
Oh
like
yeah,
that.
there's a lot of. Yeah, I feel like Dane comes up with some fucked up stuff.
Dan Schneider's Ninth Chin. That was my favorite one. Tyler labeled it. Which one? That was
After-
Monumental Mind Mutilation.
Yeah,
Was
that's
originally
right.
Dan Schneider's Ninth Chin.
That's funny.
Do you guys
I
ever
forgot
do
that.
like a mind meld type thing? Like where you like go like 1, 2, 3, you say the first word that comes to your mind.
Oh, I bet that would come up with some
That's
good
what we
working
do
titles.
sometimes.
You should do that right now.
Krogler.
Krogler.
We'd all probably all say Krogler, honestly.
I don't know what I was gonna say.
Yeah, right.
I wanna know what he was gonna say.
Gargantuan. Guantanamo.
We'll do a mind meld later.
Mind meld.
Yeah,
Monumental mind meld mutilation.
Yeah, there it is.
Monumental.
Oh.
I worked on a track with like the These Fading Visions guys
Hell
one
yeah.
time, and we called it Shrubbery Fire Hydrant.
Nice.
I love those guys.
Yeah, those guys are dope.
Yeah, I actually just ran into Chase at the so when we played at the Rave this past Sunday. Yeah. This past Sunday, he was actually at the Sleeping with Sirens show that was upstairs.
Oh, really?
And we all went out to the front because there's a food truck out there and that's kind of like a common area, and I saw Chase out there, and I had just recorded Delaney, their drummer, at No Passenger a couple months prior, so they were all hanging out and stuff, and yeah, we were talking new Vision stuff, which is very exciting. All the new stuff they did drums for is really, really cool, and Yeah, they definitely have a lot of really sick production ideas. They're really cool.
Dude, Chase is like
front.
crazy when it comes to that.
Yeah.
The first song I showed you guys, he actually like helped me out with some parts in that.
That's
that,
cool.
Like, really
Yeah.
like helped it like tie together and shit.
Dude.
So he's definitely gonna have like a writing credit on that one.
That's sick. Yeah, no, Chase is super talented. With
No,
that
I was gonna
stuff.
say too. Delaney and them actually like came over here to like demo drums out on that
Nice.
on that E-kit over there.
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah, they did
So-
come prepared. They had MIDI in the whole nine, and did they get that done here? Or?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because, I know Delaney is like, she's starting to get into like the production side more, but she's very bareborn. Like, all her videos are just like raw drum audio, and they're so tight. It's sick. Like, she just like, I think she has like a kick mic and an overhead mic or something, and she just sends it to her board, and it sounds crazy. Like, she's a really, really good drummer. It was cool to record.
When she was recording here, that was like the first time I got to like actually like meet her and shit. And fucking, I was like really impressed when she started shredding that kid.
Dude, yeah,
I was like,
she
God
hauls
damn.
ass. It's crazy. I like.
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
cracked.
Yeah. But
So were there any like central like themes that you were trying to convey with like your lyric writing on this record?
It's very anti big government, anti organized religion, and people not reading into things and reading headlines and taking it as is and believing in that and just being sheep people. That's mainly it. That is it.
Oh yeah. Was there any like I guess like events that happened that inspired you to write about that?
Yeah, but I'll leave those to myself. I'll leave those a secret. I'll leave those a secret. But yes.
So the next one I have, we could skip this one if you want to, if you don't want to go super deep on your lyrics. But I was gonna say, can you like choose like a compelling lyric that means a lot to you in the record and like kind of explain like what like I guess what that means to you and or something like that?
Yeah, I'd say Sacrificial Lamb definitely has the most meaning to me. It's pretty much about people just being sheep and just being little people that don't read into things. They just kind of take stuff as is and they create this whole personality, or they think they believe this thing, so this should be my entire character, and you're just being used as a pawn. It's like in Sacrificial Lamb, like the end words are sacrificial lambs, you will all be eaten by the wolves, and the wolves are kind of like the big government, and the lamb or lambs are the people that think that they're being good or have this good heart, which some people do, but they're just being used for propaganda against whatever side that they want you to. So,
dude, preach, brother.
Yeah,
So we talked about this a little bit, but I guess we could go a little bit more in detail with it. So how would you say your guys' musical style has like progressed like compared to your last release?
sure. A lot more shred.
A lot more
Yeah.
shred.
It's definitely more up tempo, I feel. Yeah, there's a lot more. I don't know if I'd say more blast beats, but definitely faster blast beats, and just like everything is
Yeah.
cruising at a faster pace. I mean, the slow parts are very slow. I feel like it just kind of like took both things that Ayers did, where it was like up tempo at times and very slow at times, and just like went extreme in both directions.
What's the I guess what's the fastest blast beat?
dude, the end of Sacrificial Lamb is nuts. Like that last 5 seconds is crazy to me.
That double bass.
That's just a double bass part, but yeah, that is a cool part.
Same shit. I don't know.
What's the
Yeah,
BPM on
blast
that?
beat.
Yeah. The intro to Sacrificial Lamb. What is
That
that?
is-
145.
I think they're all around 150, but yeah. I do
Yeah.
the little cross. I got to teach Marcus that later. He
The
said,
switch.
"Yeah, the switch you do."
Yeah.
You know the switch you do.
Explain it. Explain it.
That's a good
I'll probably
scientific-
know if you explain it further.
I'm like doing 16th notes on the snare drum and then quarter notes on either the hi-hat or the ride, and I'm like
Oh, okay.
So instead of going like everything with my right hand, I'm like evening them out with my left and
Okay.
right. So
Yeah, I get what you're
I can
saying.
save energy and stuff like that while still making it sound really
Cheating.
fast. It's
Yeah.
like cheating, yeah, because I'm not
Cheating.
playing the same stuff on whatever.
But you kind of have to. I don't know if many people can blast as fast as.
yeah,
We want to.
there's some dudes, but I'm not there yet. So I'm
I
making
don't
do
know.
with
There's not a lot of dudes.
with the resources I got.
Yeah.
I used to cheat big time when I played drums. So no
Okay,
shade.
let's.
No shade.
Gotta get
I
in where you
hate
fit
all
in.
this like cheating. Shit. It's like.
Yeah, Dane uses triggers also, guys.
Yeah, just so everybody knows.
Well, I didn't even use. I should have used triggers, but what I would do is instead of do single stroke rolls, I would do doubles on everything.
That's not cheating.
You don't think
Yeah.
so?
If it sounds good, it sounds good.
Yeah, I think that is definitely
true.
an approach we all take. It's
Mhm.
like, I feel like everybody has certain methods in their playing that are quote unquote cheating, but it's just a means to an end. It's like, it all depends on what the end result is, what you want,
Mhm.
and the whole cheating stigma for me is super annoying. I feel like we all get it like on our individual instruments for certain things, and it's it's like we're just trying to jam out, dude. Don't overthink it. Like, who cares?
It's an art, not a sport.
Yeah, dude, that's a
That's
tough
true.
thing in deathcore. It's like it kind of becomes a sport with how like technical some of the shit gets and whatever. I don't know. We're kind of like on both sides of the fence where like there is shred, but we're also like doing heavy breakdown stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I don't know. I wouldn't consider us like a technical deathcore. We have like technical parts, but like there's some like super shreddy ass shit out there, which we're not
Yeah.
trying to be. It's like we want to incorporate some of that without like dwelling on it too much. So we don't get into the whole pissing contest thing too much. It's just like we like to dabble in a lot of things, and if we have to cheat to pull it off, screw it, you know?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you guys do pull it off really well, though. I don't
Thank
know
you, man.
what it is about the fucking like breakdowns you guys write. Like, I don't know what it is, but there's like just like something fucking special about them.
Thank you,
Thank
man.
you. That means a
Like,
lot.
honestly,
Sweet.
that dude, like, cause just like the whole fucking crowd at your guys' shows, just everybody's just like, it's like a fucking like family in the pit
Dude.
and shit. Just
It
like
is. I
everybody's
love to
fucking
see it.
linking arms. You ever like see
Yeah,
that?
yeah.
Like, everybody's just,
Yeah.
so
yeah,
like,
at the rave, that was cool.
oh really? Did they
Yeah,
have a
that
big,
was at
long
the rave. That
chain?
was
Carnifex.
Carnifex, yeah,
Yeah,
for
played
Towers
this.
of Human Skulls. But yeah, I don't know. I think part of that, like, yeah, the breakdowns are cool, but and I'm not trying to like pat ourselves on the back, but we definitely take pride in like the energy we try to bring live, and we are all really trying to jam out and like throw down because you know it's fun for us being up there. Like, there's nothing better than throwing ass when you play a heavy part. But on the same token, it's like everybody's there for an experience. It's like if you're playing what we play and you're standing still, it's not going to be a very good time
Right.
for anybody. It's
Yeah.
like if you jam, they'll jam, and that's just kind of our philosophy. Even Dane's back behind the kit, just like going wild. So
Yeah, I know me and Brandon try and have some moments that make it more entertaining, and
Oh yeah.
and I like to think I hit my shits pretty hard. And,
Yeah,
and
he
try and
hits
put
like
on
a
show.
truck. I think it fires people up when they
Yeah.
hear you just whamming on that snare. It's kind of wild.
Oh yeah. Ooh. So,
Ooh. Ooh.
so you guys had the feature from Crown Magnetar.
Oh.
So how did that come about?
We wanted a feature, and personally, I had like 2 or 3 people in mind, and Dan and Crown Magnetar, some of our favorite. Crown Magnetar, I think, is a collective, one of our favorite bands. But I love Dan Tucker from Crown Magnetar, so we wanted. We felt like Sacrificial Lamb fit for him to be on that song, so we sent him. Actually, we sent him the instrumental for Monumental, and
Yeah,
he
we
was
did.
digging that. And we have a music video out for Monumental Mind Mutilation, guys.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler
No,
alert.
by the time this is out,
Spoiler
it
alert.
will be out.
Yeah,
I think.
he was going to be on that song, and we were going to fly him out from Denver, but his schedule, he's getting married and touring, so it didn't end up working out. But so we got him on Sacrificial Lamb, and
It's awesome.
Yeah, he dug the song, and he was all for it, so went smooth. It was very nice. I'm very grateful for
Yeah.
Dan.
yeah.
In hindsight, I feel like that's the right choice. That end breakdown and Sacrificial is just,
Mm-hmm.
it's got his name all over it, kind of. It's a pretty Crown Magnetar influenced part, I would say. Just like super elongated build up. And yeah, I feel like there's a lot of time for people to get hyped for what he's about to do. And that's, yeah. With
Okay.
Monumental, I don't know, like, he could have threw down on that ending too. but
Sacrificial's the song for
yeah,
him, though.
I think
Yeah.
so. I think
How
Happy
excited
accident,
were you
yeah.
guys to get that back from him?
Dude, it was awesome.
It was pretty freaking hype.
I kept checking our band
Uh-huh.
email, just like reloading it. Hopefully, I got the email that he sent it. I was anxious. So.
Yeah, dude. Well, like Kieran said, he was getting married and touring and all this stuff. And, you know, we had a timeline initially, and we were kind of, and no shade to Dan, like, we love the fact that, like, he even decided to work with us. But we didn't realize that he had all this stuff going on, so we were expecting it a little sooner. It was like a buzzer beater. Like, I mixed it the day that he sent us his vocals, pretty much, and then I shipped it to Kieran, and I was like, all right, let's get it on Spotify. 'Cause, like, I shit you not, it was like, what, a week and a half before we wanted to drop the EP that we got. And that was like the bottleneck. We were just kind of waiting on the feature. And again, like, absolutely no shade to Dan, because we were just happy to get something.
Uh-huh.
But like, yeah, it was a little bit of a buzzer beater. But when we did get it, it was like, hell yeah. And then it was like, okay, we got to mix this now. You know?
Oh, that part was super nasty too.
Yeah.
I bet.
crushed
I
it.
bet the first time you listened to that, you're like,
I was
"Ooh."
just ignorant. I was just staying face the whole time. I was shook.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah, he
Uh-huh.
crushed it.
So, what would you guys say was the most challenging aspect of creating this E EP?
That's a good question.
Our timeline that we set for ourselves, realistically.
Yeah, we kind of shot ourselves in the foot. We were scrambling a little bit, trying to get everything put together. And honestly, it hasn't set in yet, but everything did come together. Like, as of yesterday, our EP is out. And
Either
as
yeah.
of the next 24 hours, we'll have a music video out. And like, I can't stress enough how like buzzer beater everything has been in the last couple weeks. But like, we had this timeline set, and you know, things got pushed back. Like, I started working with Stayer too, and that kind of threw a wrench in some things. It pushed things back a little bit, and then you know, we had tour and just life and whatever. So, granted, like, we only put out Testimony like a little over a year ago too, so we weren't like super worried about, you know, pushing it back like a couple months, because we're like, okay, well, we're already on a decent timeline to get this out within a year, which is great for us. You know, we're happy with that. But yeah, everything. So like, we set the EP release date based on this like weekend run we kind of planned with Stayer. We're just like, okay, everything should be done by then. You know, like, it was what, 2 months ago, and we had, you know, everything tracked and like mostly mixed. And yeah, basically we were kind of waiting on assets from other people, which that was a lesson learned. You can never like just expect things to fall into your timeline. Like, they have lives too, and like, they're obviously all very busy people. We were working
Right.
with like our music video guy, Joe. You know, he is a very in-demand like wedding photographer, and he has all sorts of other, you know,
Bands that he shoots. and a
yeah,
whole bunch of
bands he
shit.
shoots and all sorts of work that he does. Not to mention Dan from Crown Magnetar. He's like one of the busiest guys out there right now. He's just doing a lot, and it's just like, we kind of over anticipated getting all these assets. So in the last like 2 weeks, we were just like, all right, we need to like get this here and this, you know, and yeah, we freaking made her happen though. It was a little stressful, but all in
got her
all,
done.
We got her
Got her
done.
done.
Oh yeah, dude.
It always seems
Mhm.
to work out for the boys. It's pretty cool. It's kind of a miracle, but like I said, it hasn't really set in yet. Like, that whole like last week and a half of just like being like super tense, like, okay, like thinking about how everything's got to go for everything to be out. It was like, oh shit. But
Came up quick.
it did. Yeah. It snuck up on all of us. And like, yeah.
Do you guys have any like different approaches to like marketing that you're doing on this release?
Yeah. So with this one, our plan right now, so we'll be dropping the Monumental Mind Mutilation video on our YouTube channel. We want to start getting some growth on our own platforms. We've been going through Slam Worldwide quite a bit for our other releases, so we want to kind of start building our brand, and we're actually working with a gentleman who helps Stayer with their marketing. I have the connect, fortunately, being in the band and everything, so yeah, I reached out to him. He's going to help us kind of do some of the ad spendy stuff that we want to do and hopefully boost our reach a little bit, because can't stress enough how important that is in today's game. That differs a little bit from our last release. We worked with, I believe, Total Deathcore, and they had like a similar kind of package where they were doing ad spend on our behalf, but they also had, all sorts of like publicists and different sort of avenues for spreading the word about the album, but yeah, this is going to be strictly more of like a ad campaign where, it's not so much the publicized part of it, but it's like, we're focused on getting Instagram ads rolling and Facebook ads. And, the other thing we're really going to dive into is TikTok. That's next on the agenda. Now that we're out of the woods with all of the album prep stuff and just getting everything ready, like we're ready to just kind of hunker down on the promotional side of it, which you got to do. It's like, I've seen a lot of people make the mistake of just putting something out and then be like, all right, now get streams. It's like, well, yeah, I would say the marketing part is arguably harder than anything, especially today where there's just so much out there and it's all really good, yeah, you just have to have faith in what you're putting out and be willing to invest. That's just the bottom line. And I feel like, it's tough when you're just a working class dude and you're not on a label or you're not getting fundage from anybody but yourselves. But I would say, really double down on your merch game. That is how you make money in this business. Like, you have to have a product to sell, and unfortunately, single streams aren't going to pay the bills for the fraction of a penny you get per stream. It's not realistic. Yeah, you have to rely on your brand, and you have to kind of focus on the visual part of it almost as much as you focus on the audio side of it. So, and that's a tough thing for me. And I feel like we all round each other out pretty well on that front, because I like the audio part, but I don't like a whole lot else. Dane is a content guy. He loves being a goon on camera. Kieran,
I love gooning on camera.
Kieran has
hell yeah,
a good mind for design and stuff, and yeah, it just kind of works out in that way. But yeah, marketing is imperative. I know a lot of people. I know Luke and Marcus touched on that when they came through, and yeah, there's literally no way around it anymore. If you want people to hear your stuff, you kind of have to pay, which sucks,
Yeah.
But you can't just rely on your music falling into people's lap anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I remember back in the day, you'd throw a song up on Facebook, like a YouTube video or whatever, and your reach would go out to everybody on your friends list, and everybody would see it on their timeline. And now they have it set up to where you have to pay for people who you're friends with who are following you to see your stuff. It's just the business we're in.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Now it's just a bunch of Temu ads.
Yeah. We should put our music up on Temu.
I seriously hate that fucking Meta is such a prominent part of that, because Meta like fucks me constantly.
Yeah. Do you
Like,
get your posts taken down?
I had 2 posts like I posted one about our EP, and that got it got taken down because they said I was fishing.
Dude,
Because I posted the ticket link in the comments.
That is exactly what's happening to me and the Stayer boys. Like, I can't count how many times now in the Stayer group chat, like, I've tossed in something like, "Hey guys, sorry, trying to promote our show, but I can't because Facebook is zucking us again." And then,
right.
you know, Luke has the same stuff going on. Luke probably worse than anybody. Like, he's so over it now, and Marcus has had it a couple times too. But yeah, not to mention all these bots that are trying to sell shirts with our band members' names on them.
Well, yeah, what's going on with that?
Yeah.
No, that's crazy.
That's how I know we haven't made it yet. We don't have like a guy trying to make shirts with our names on it in the comments.
But
But
I see Chris Davis and fucking Marcus
Yeah.
both. They
What
both
was-
got.
shit.
I bought one too. That's the fucked up part.
It's
What
like,
Marcus
oh
is
shit,
was
Marcus is selling shirts.
Marcus Chaplevsky, musician legend. I love that one.
I think I had one comment on some of my posts, but I think I deleted them like immediately when it happened. So
Yeah,
I didn't get
anytime
anyone
see that,
messaging me being like, "What you doing, man?"
anytime I see that shit, I just flag it immediately.
Yeah.
I'm
Mhm.
like,
I just think it'd be really funny to have someone like comment one of those and then like actually print those shirts and sell them. Like, imagine how quickly a Marcus Chaplevsky musician
Musician
legend
legend.
shirt would fly off the shelves. You'd do it.
You're onto something now.
I know.
I'd buy it.
Kind of like
Yeah.
those Brandon shirts, the shirt of Brandon with the
Dude.
little drum set.
Yeah. We gotta get back on our brand and sticker game and start posting that shit
Yeah,
everywhere.
I wish Brandon was here right now.
I know.
How long have we been going?
We're kind of like the Timu of the music scene.
Deathcore. Timo of Deathcore. It's a new caption for our next promo photo.
This isn't the
People
heirs
ran
of
down.
humanity I ordered.
Yeah. The Whitechapel. Fuck.
So do you guys want to kind of like talk about like your views on like the Wisconsin music scene? Like,
That would be awesome.
like what's your kind of take on the trajectory of the scene the past couple of years?
I am fairly new to being like in the band in a scene, and I grew up always going to shows. Like this is my first and only band I've been in, and it's been 4 years now. Before that, I was always a fan, and it was always like welcoming whenever show I went to, and I could go by myself, and I had no issue because I'd end up talking to some person that we had similar music interests. And now that I'm actually in a band, and we tour and we go to other states, and I hear the drama elsewhere. It's very fortunate of how close everyone is in Wisconsin. Every city we're in, obviously, the more times we play, the more people come, but everyone's just very welcoming, whatever city we're in. And it's just, and like, even when we're out of state, people are still definitely friendly, but just like the inner drama of bands and just like the scene drama of other states is like crazy from what I've heard. Compared to Wisconsin, that there's little to no drama, I think. And every band that we've played with, we've never had an issue with, you know what I mean? Like, everyone's super chill and it's competitive, but not in like a dickhead way, you know what I mean? It's like making
It's
each other
like
better.
competitive in a way where we like almost like we all lift each other up, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I
Right.
agree.
Yeah.
That's exactly
Like mixed
what I
genre
was-
shows, I think, are big in Wisconsin too. For that reason, like, I mean, granted, we're like the only deathcore band in Wisconsin for the most part, I think, but
Yeah, there's a couple other heavier bands,
it's just like meeting all those different kind of people from different smaller scenes within the scene are just, everyone's just so nice and really cool to play with and chat. So I think
yeah.
it's only going up from here, I think, personally.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think it's cool just seeing everybody's success in the last couple months. Yeah, obviously Stayer's doing well, but then you've got like Dark Deeds, they're hitting big numbers, and you got Vacant Voice, they're popping off, and you know, like Dark Deeds just came out of nowhere. Vacant Voice, they've been grinding for a minute, and you know, they were successful before, but now they're doing like really big numbers with that new single, and those guys are super rad. Dane filling in with them.
I am on
Yeah.
October
Vacant
13th.
Voice?
I'm filling in
Oh,
with
hell
Vacant
yeah.
Voice for that show at X-Ray.
Yeah, they're sick. Yeah, who else? Like, every band in the scene is like super gifted, but like Kieran said, it definitely is a family out here. I feel very fortunate because I kind of get to associate with a lot of bands all the time, whether it be playing with Airs or playing with Stayer and now playing with Orborn. Not to mention, the studio work. Like, I get to be very involved with all these people and build close relationships. Like, Surefire comes to mind. Like, since those guys started, I've, been in their back pocket. Like, just watching them grow. It's cool. And I wish every band in the scene all the success in the world because, everybody supports everybody here. And that is not common in other places, as Kieran said. So, yeah, I have a lot of love for the scene. I've been in the scene for a really long time, probably since I was like 17. I'm 29 now. So, yeah, watching the evolution over the last 12 years where, like in the past, there were buddies and like buddy bands and all that stuff. But, you probably know too, it was a little cliquier, it seemed like.
Yeah, definitely.
Now, like, the clique is everybody. Everybody is involved in, like, I mean, yeah, I don't think the scene that we built now is, like, exclusive to anybody. Like, there are certain bands that get on a number of shows, but, like, we also try to bring people up from Chicago and, all these neighboring states. Like, it's cool that, we have tons of homie neighbors out in like Minnesota and all these neighboring states, and yeah, those bands are super sick too, and they always say the same thing when they come out here. They're like, yeah, the scene out here is alive and well. And like,
Do hear that a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, like we had the pleasure of bringing our buddies in Fathom through Wisconsin on tour when we were on tour this summer, and they were like, this is the best tour we've ever been on. Like every Wisconsin date like popped off just because it had been a while since we got to play Wisconsin because we had that rave show that kind of radius claused us out of a couple shows, which was whatever. But yeah, when we finally came back, everybody was out, and it was cool getting to bring other bands in to experience what we get the pleasure of experiencing every time there's like a local show. And tonight is going to be another testament to that. I feel like, any Stayer gig at X-Ray usually pops off. So I'm excited. Like, I'll be busy, but it will be
My
fun.
man has 3 sets tonight.
Dude,
3
hell yeah.
goddamn sets.
Yeah, I just wanted to see if I could do it. Maybe I
And Ouroborn's first, dude, your fingers are gonna be tired.
I know, yeah.
You're the 5th person.
That's why I
I've
need
heard
2
say that
sets in
since last
between
night.
Airs and Stayer. I'm like, all right, go ice my hand for a couple
Is that-
hours and
Is that Ouroborn's gonna be Ouroborn's first show?
first show ever. So a lot of milestones this weekend. It's really cool. Stayer's playing with Seosin tomorrow. We dropped our EP and did our EP release last night. So yeah, a lot of cool milestones for your boy this weekend. I'm very stoked. But
Oh, yeah. Weekend of Tyler.
Yeah.
Tyler takeover. Is that what Luke
Cool.
said?
Yeah, it was
Tyler
funny
take over.
yesterday after every song or before every song. Luke kept saying, "This song's dedicated to Tyler."
So wait, how many sets is that this weekend?
6
sets.
sets, 3 days.
God damn.
Gang, gang.
Have you ever
2
done
down,
anything
4
like
to go.
Have you ever done anything like that before?
Hell no.
First
First time. I've never been in 3 bands until this last couple months. So yeah.
Hell yeah, man. So where do you guys see Heirs of Humanity in the next 5 years, and how does existential nihilism like set the stage for that?
Good question.
Mm,
Japan.
I want Dane to answer that question
5
first.
years.
Give me your 5-year plan.
5-year plan. So next year will be in Hawaii. After that, Alaska. 3 years from now, we're hitting the East Coast. But by that, I mean the East Coast of
The Middle East Coast.
We're going to Qatar.
Tyler, you answer the question.
Yeah, to piggyback off what Dane said.
Guitar. God.
Yeah, it's tough to say what the timeline is now. I think this EP, while we're very proud of it, is a very good stepping stone for what's to come. And that's kind of something we talked about because, you know, with me joining and kind of like doing a lot of the writing and production, it's been a learning process. And just, you know, we are still cohesively trying to, you know, get our sound exactly how we want it. And I feel like this was like a good stepping stone in the direction we're trying to go. So, yeah, honestly, I think for me, next, I'd like to do a full length. It's not something we super discussed yet.
Duh.
Yeah.
I think we're all on board with that.
Yeah. And I think by the time we're ready to do that, we will have our sound like fully fleshed out. Like Monumental being the last song we kind of wrote for the EP. I like that sound a lot, but I like the 6 Feet Deep too, where it's just caveman heavy, you know. And I think a full length will allow us to, you know, do more of what we kind of did on the EP and just really refine our sound. So, yeah, be on the lookout for that in the next, you know,
5
foreseeable.
years.
That's what I love. Like 2 days ago, Tyler's like, he texted me, he's like, start to get
Time to get ready for the next one.
Yeah, like, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
I
Do
think
you guys
that's-
have anything written for the next?
We have so many songs we didn't use that we can
Oh, yeah.
maybe
We have a lot in the
revisit,
vault.
but
Yeah, we got a lot. In the
nothing wrong with starting off fresh though too. So we'll see.
vault. Yeah.
But I think Existential Nihilism will be a good when we get the marketing right and when we get the right people to hear and the right people to see it. Like we've had a lot of good opportunities come our way, but I've learned you don't always say yes to the right or to the first, I guess.
Yeah.
Like
Don't jump.
deal someone. So based on just the people that have hit us up and the people that have wanted to work with us, I think we're heading in the right direction. I think we've been acting accordingly, but I think Existential Nihilism is obviously like the first set of songs that were written by a collective band. So we, like Tyler said, we're going to find our sound, but I think not to get too overzealous, but like hopefully like a new release every year, whether it be an EP or a full length. It's easier said than done, but just like continuing to build and get better and better and have these bigger and bigger opportunities. And then when the right deal comes to the table, then we'll be able to comfortably say yes as opposed to jumping the gun because they might have something interesting in it for us. So slowly but surely we'll get there, but just keep releasing badass music and promoting it correctly and hanging out with the homies.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's all about having fun. I think, you know, we would all love to do this full time. And, you know, right now we're just working class dudes trying to hack it. And, you know, we play out when we can. We use our vacation to go out on the road and stuff. I mean, you know, until it gets to the point where we can, like, survive off touring in a part-time job or something, then, you know, it's just, like, ever evolving. I feel like that's kind of the thing. And, you know, in metal, I feel like you're always gonna probably need a side gig. Like,
Yeah.
case in point, Stayer played the Bottom Lounge a couple weeks ago. We opened for Caskets, and the bartender behind the bar manager, whatever, was Sam Applebaum from Vale of Maya.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
It's just
shit.
like a testament. Like, we saw him and we're like, yeah, be prepared to grind probably forever. But like, I honestly,
That's fine with me.
I was going to say, I don't think if you're playing metal to get rich, you're kind of a fucking idiot. Like,
Yeah, we do it because we
Ronnie
fucking
Radke's
love,
rich.
you know,
yeah,
the
exactly.
fucking
And-
like the emotion, the power behind it and shit, you know.
right. Just the concept of being able to do it for your livelihood. That's like the dream. And you just kind of have to keep doing what you love until it gets there. And yeah, I think the bands that are most successful are the bands that have just stuck it out and grinded. And like, case in point, look at like Bad Omens. They, they were an opener on every tour forever for like, the last like 7-8 years. And now they're like headlining massive arenas and festivals and like just doing incredible things. But it's because they stuck with it. And like, yeah, they were on a sick label and they had notoriety. But I mean, until the last couple of years, like, they just put out one banging release that just took off, and I mean, kind of like, I don't know, Sleep Token 2 is a little bit like that.
Yeah, that's who I had in mind.
Yeah, they kind of had a more natural progression, I feel. But yeah, they've been at it for a while too, and it's like all of a sudden one big release just puts you over the edge, and you just kind of have to love making music. What's cool for us is like, I'd like to keep things in-house with like the production side of things, and like a big goal of mine is just to always get better as a mixer. But like that plays to our advantage when it comes to putting out timely releases. You're not, like we said earlier, with relying on people to provide assets for you and like going off of their timeline, we don't have that as much. Like, I do get a little heady about what I'm doing, and I'm sending these guys 1 million mixes a day, and they're like, yep, sounds good, but I'm like, kind of overanalyzing at times. While that is the case, keeping it in-house does prevent that super far pushed back timeline, and it saves a ton of money, and we can just put that back into the band. Like, instead of spending, like we want to do a full length, you think if we were to go like have that recorded somewhere and mixed, mastered, edited, 8, 9, 10 songs, that could run you 8, 9, 10 grand, like when you look at the hourly rates for recording or whatever packages people have. Like,
I don't think not like the fact that I know how to record, I don't think I'll ever go to anybody else.
Dude, it's invaluable, and like there's something to be said about being able to kind of make your own vision come to life. And that's why I wanted to get into mixing. It's, saving money is cool or whatever, but like nobody's going to put the amount of TLC into your music as you will.
Yeah.
And if you have the tools to be able to do that, your music's just going to be exponentially better than the guy next to you, because, you can give someone all the notes in the world, but that doesn't give them that vision that you have in your head.
It's definitely a learning curve with that though, because like, I don't know, I think we might have talked about this last time, where you get like married to like your like demos and shit.
Yeah, that's a big thing for me.
And like you kind of like get married to that sound, so when you're trying to like finish something, you're like, I liked that demo sound.
Yeah. I like to make my demos so bad that I couldn't possibly like it. Yeah,
That's a good strat.
I really don't do a lot in the demo phase, and yeah, I don't know, like the demos weren't unlistenable, but I try not to get like super in depth. I probably will on the next one, because what I want to start doing is, make my demos the legit record. Like, I don't want to do a demo phase anymore. That's not efficient. Like,
Yeah.
I might as well get good DIs out of the gate, and when I'm working on something, make it polished.
Yeah.
So you're not going back and retracking. Like, I think that's honestly. And how many ideas have you had in the demo phase that when you go to actually track it, it's tough to replicate? That happens to me all the time.
Yeah.
Like, that's a big reason why I'm thinking going forward, I'm just going to like get good DIs of everything. And, granted, like, we actually did live drums for our record. So we'll program drums and whatever. And then, we haven't decided if we want to do program drums on the next one or live drums. I guess that depends on how fucking insane it is. But but I really liked how the live drums turned out. Like, that one's pretty raw.
Mm-hmm.
But
They're tight.
Yeah.
Did you guys track that at Spencer's
Yeah.
room?
Yep. Yeah, we just spent a Saturday and Sunday there and just hauled ass through them and made it happen.
Yeah, tracking was pretty quick for everybody, but yeah, went off on a weird tangent there.
Did you do that on this last one, or did you have demos?
I had demos for this last one, and fun fact, so for the last one, I kind of started doing what I was talking about, where I was getting good DIs and making sure, like, everything was just plug and play, and I actually took the solo for Monumental Mind Mutilation from the demo and threw that in the new one, and it sounds fucking perfect. Because, like, there were things I did on it, I'm like, dude, if I try to do this again, it's just not going to come through as well. And there were a couple parts on the record that I was like, okay, well, I really like the demo thing that I did, but I know it's technically ass, so I'm just gonna like re-record it, and yeah, it's not as good as what I thought that was, but yeah, I think that's how I'm gonna start negating demoitis, is just recording starts in the demo phase, you know what I mean? Like
taking a page out of Periphery's book.
Dead ass, dude, that's exactly why. Yeah,
Is that what they do?
Yeah.
I feel like they talked about that on
I think it was a P5 documentary they were talking about that.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
I just have you ever tried, or do you have the P5 kit from GGD?
No, I don't. I'm trying to think if Spencer does.
I would definitely recommend that kit because it's like fucking
nice.
Good kit.
Yeah, dude. I need to shop around for more GGD. I only have 2 kits on my desktop. Spencer has a bunch. But
you use Superior, right?
So for blending, we use Superior Drummer 3. I don't know, like for death metal drums, bro, Superior Drummer's nice. And like they have a variety of different snares. It's not like when you buy GGD, you get your kit and that's pretty much it. And like I think a couple of them have like a couple different drum options.
Yeah, I think Invasion has like a few different snares and toms and shit.
Superior Drummer 3 is just like freaking catalog of different drums for anything you could imagine, and like it's cool because I think we had like in our heads that we wanted kind of like a pingier snare. We didn't want it to be like, well, I think Dane might have wanted it to be more obnoxious than I did. But
Saint Anger.
Yeah, that's what he wanted.
Yeah,
kind of. But I think we found a pretty good middle ground. Like the snare ended up sounding sick, I thought.
Yeah, it was nasty.
Thank you. But
what did you do processing wise to achieve that sound?
Yeah, so not a lot on the snare. Basically, we blended his live snare with whatever snare I ended up using in Superior Drummer. I can't remember. But that, run a little JST clip, a little EQ, boost the fundamental a little bit. We didn't want like a super chesty snare. I didn't want a super like, like I think like metalcore, like Humanity's Last Breath, even where you just have that like super cool, like that 200 hertz heavy
like
shit.
It's like a shotgun snare.
Exactly. And you can feel it in your chest. And I like that effect, but like with how much ass we're hauling on this record, like you wanted it to cut through and you wanted it to hit, but like you had to find that middle ground. So I got a snare that had it was like a little higher than 200. It was more like the fundamental was in like the 250 range, which I was happy with. And I didn't go crazy on it. I didn't want it to sound boxy. I wanted it to be sharp, and like I think it still hits. But yeah, a little JST clip, a little EQ, run that to the drum bus. What else do we have? I don't know. Yeah, a little compression in the drum bus. I like to run a little decapitator on my drum bus for.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, do you have any saturation on it?
Yeah, a little decapitator in there. I think, what else did I have? Maybe a little OTT, very subtle. No, I don't think we used that on the drums. I can't remember my chain anymore. I don't know. If I had it in front of me, I'd walk you through it. But well, you'll have to give me a call on FaceTime.
All right.
But yeah, that's like the important things, I feel like. you want to be clipping your snare a little bit.
I to kind of piggyback off of what you were saying about that chesty snare feel. I feel like that's like almost something that you should dial in like in certain sections, like rather than just have your snare constantly just be like because if you like dial that real chesty sound in like parts that like you want to hit harder, that'll make those parts just like
very
hit
impactful.
way harder.
I totally agree with that. Like that was a big thing. Well, that's the nice thing about the way we did drums. So like in the demo phase when we were programming MIDI and stuff, like we did a lot of velocity tweaking and stuff like that, which was cool. But the nice thing about tracking live drums is, you get that dynamic feel for sure. We did a lot of blending, but what I did and what No Passenger does a lot is we'll program MIDI based off of the drum hit velocities in Superior Drummer. There's like a whole function called tracker that will analyze all your drum velocities. So you got to like get everything grid aligned first with your drums. And then once you do that, you throw it into tracker and it will analyze all of your hits individually. And you just go drum by drum, make sure everything is aligned properly. So the MIDI hits at the exact same time the drum does.
It's kind of like Trigger.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. In a way, I feel like Trigger like does it differently though, because like doesn't Trigger just detect that there is an audio input and then go based off of that? I think that's more how Trigger works.
I don't know if it like does like the velocities and shit. Like
Right.
that.
I think it's like past a certain threshold in Trigger, it will just trigger a drum sample. And I don't know anything about Trigger really. So
I personally have not used it. So
me neither. But yeah, similar concept in a way, but you get this MIDI and you throw it back into GGD or Superior Drummer or whatever drum software you want to use, and then you just blend that with your natural hits, and like it makes your drums sound a lot fuller. Like, I mean, I thought we got good drum sounds on the record for the most part, but like something about just a little extra push, blending those toms and the snare. Like snare in particular is tough to get right with a live drum recording. So I did rely on the, process snare a little bit, but it's all dynamically based off of Dane's playing. And like, granted, the other nice thing is like, if for whatever reason in blending the hit velocities don't translate correctly, you can always like boost the velocities in the MIDI, and like, there's options there as opposed to like with a live drum recording, like doing all sorts of automation and whatnot, And there's a little bit of that going on too, but yeah. Pretty happy with how the drums turned out. It's a very drums forward album, I feel like. I've mixed those bitches loud as hell.
Dude, that's how you gotta do it.
Dude,
man.
I feel like, any mix I like, the drums are screaming. But
all right, well, we gotta get you guys out of here.
oh yeah, what time is it?
So it's like 2:30 about.
Oh, okay.
But
Good thing you were looking.
yeah. Do you guys have anything else you want to promote before we get you out of here?
We have the Halloween show, October 26th at the WC Social Club,
Oh hell yeah!
with a lot of badass bands.
Oh yeah.
Who's all on that one?
A lot.
It was like 15.
It's
Origin, Summoning the
Lick, I Am, Sabella, Last 10 Seconds of Life.
Cell.
So,
There's a lot. There's like 15 bands, I think, that day.
dude, there's a ton.
Big Halloween show. And then December 13th, we will be with our homies in Waste. And I think besides Waste, we haven't played with anyone else on that bill, honestly.
Yeah,
But
it's Waste and
Search of Solace.
In Search of Solace.
In-
Yep.
Unfit, Abandoned. And there's one more I'm missing.
I think it starts with an A.
Oh, Careful Gaze, I think.
Never
right?
mind.
Has an A in it.
Where's
Two
that
A's.
one at?
That one is at Amsterdam Barn Hall in St. Paul, and we may or may not be playing more shows with them shortly after that, but I'm not sure yet on the schedule. But
Yeah, that's their EP release.
yes, their EP, so that'll
Oh,
be
yeah.
a badass show. That's it for
This,
right now. I'm kinda-
Waste EP release.
Yeah.
Hell yeah!
Yeah.
Dude, they're fucking sick.
Yeah,
So
they're
good.
We got the opportunity to play with them in like January, I think, and it was a good
I
ass show.
remember that show.
I think you were there,
Yeah.
weren't you?
Mhm.
They
Fuck yeah,
throw
that
it
was a good
down. I
time.
can't wait to play with them again.
Yeah, they rip.
All right, hell yeah, guys!
Dude.
Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you so
Thanks
much for
for
having
having
us.
us
Always a
again.
Hell
pleasure,
yeah.
buddy.
Anytime, bro.
Hell yeah.
All right, well, I will see you guys tonight.
Absolutely.
man. Let's
Hell
fucking
let's
rip her.
party.
Sir.
I'm gonna be in the
Rager.
pit, fucking
Yeah.
Throw
All
some
right.
ass,
All
dude.
right. Let's see it.
break my fucking neck. All right.
go.
Thanks for watching, guys. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share this around. This has been episode 15, I think.
Nice.
Ooh,
yeah,
episode
Number
1.
1 and 15.
1 in 15, the fucking epic episodes.
Hey.
Huge milestone.
I like it.
All right, we're signing off, guys.
See ya.